hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys some major confirmed anime spoilers for the upcoming episodes of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Before, we just had the actual titles. Now we have episode summaries that have been released over in Japan, and you need to be getting excited because we're getting more information about some of these car members than we are actually given in the manga. And based on some of these episode synopsises that are part of the promotional information, we are getting stuff that directly ties into what is going on right now in the Boruto manga. So with that being said, if you want to go into the upcoming episodes without any prior intel, even though this isn't a spoiler, this is promotional information, I would recommend clicking off of the video. But if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys don't care. So now real quick before we go any further, I do want to kind of clear something up. So after reading these episode summaries, they are adding some anime original stuff to the manga adaptations. I still think that episode 203 is going to be the start of Naruto versus Jigen, where Sasuke ends up kind of jumping in that fight as well. Courtesy of Organic Dinosaur, Boruto anime episode 199 is titled Overload, which is going to be airing on May 16th, and in this episode it's going to be the continuation of the Naruto versus Delta fight. That towards the end of this episode that's going to be happening this week, Delta should show up, and then the very next episode should be the full fight. Now what I will say also is, based on these episode summaries, one quick note I do want to make is we don't have a synopsis for 203. I don't think I jumped the gun based on the actual staff listing. It is possible that we go into an anime original arc after episode 202, but based on the pacing, I still think it's episode 203. If I'm wrong, I'll go ahead and apologize for that now. But looking at what we know, episode 199, it says, in order to win against Naruto in combat, Delta, one of the leaders of the mysterious organization named Kar, utilizes a cowardly method and treats Kawaki as if he were an object. That made Naruto erupt into a rage. He isn't afraid of Delta's destructive light beam jutsu, one that obliterates biological cells, which then can't be recovered via any regenerative abilities, and tries to take her out with an overbearing mass of Rasengan. He keeps trying to cram her with strong jutsu. However, Delta has been reconstructed with scientific ninja weapon tools. The size of the jutsu is irrelevant. No matter what, it seems her abilities can absorb his jutsu. So that right there, that's gonna be a key part of the Naruto versus Delta fight. So the fact that they're giving this away in the actual synopsis, it leads me to believe that because it does look like we're getting some heavy hitters on episode 199 with Naruto versus Delta, this is the part of the fight where Naruto should be in his KCM mode, which means that we're gonna be seeing some really impressive taijutsu. I do think, if I'm not mistaken, I have to look up the animation staff, but from what I've been told, the people that worked on Danzo versus Sasuke and Sasuke versus Itachi are working on this episode. I haven't confirmed that yet, so once I do find something, I'll update that down in the comment section down below. But I'm hyped for this, because if they're giving this away, that means that they're gonna be animating something special for this fight as well. So I'm hyped for that part. Now, episode 200, now this is where things get really interesting in my opinion. So in episode 200, it says that since the title is Becoming an Apprentice, and it's going to be airing on May 23rd. Now, according to this summary, it says that since Kawaki lost his arm in his battle with Delta, he got to receive a prosthetic arm that was originally made for Naruto's use. Essentially, the prosthetic wouldn't work without being powered by chakra from Naruto himself. However, Naruto personally distributed his own chakra to the prosthetis, so Kawaki could use it in a similar manner. Naruto tells Kawaki about bonds. Chakra is a power that connects us to one another and is something that exists inside of all of us. So basically, Naruto's teaching him ninjutsu. But as Kawaki remembers those words, he asked Naruto about getting some ninjutsu training. That's foreshadowing. That ties into the manga right there. If you know, you know. Meanwhile, Delta's reporters arrive. The leader of Kar, Jigen, has become aware that Boruto's palm has been etched with karma too. He seems to smile with satisfaction at this development. So that's huge. That's huge. That's something that, again, I don't want to spoil for anybody's anime only, but that's huge. That really lets us know that they're kind of moving full steam ahead, man. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to where we're at. I mean, this should be I believe chapter 34 is what episode 200 is going to be. So there are only 57 chapters of the Boruto manga. This new director, as of I believe episode 200, this new director would have given us 17 chapters of Boruto in an entire year. So I mean, he's moving at a fast ass pace. So we're getting closer and closer to Naruto versus Jigen. So I'm excited about that. Now, episode 201. Now, this is one I've been waiting to see what the anime does and what the anime adds to it. And if I'm not mistaken, this was actually going to be an outsourced episode. According to this episode, it's titled Empty Tears. Again, I'm excited for this one. So it says, nearby is sleeping Naruto. Kawaki is repairing the broken flower vase. Then the nine-tailed beast Kurama appeared in front of him. Having been sealed inside of Naruto, Kurama has been living together with him up until now too. Kurama tells Kawaki that he resembles what Naruto was like in his former days. Kawaki unexpectedly hears about half of Naruto's lifetime and then starts to think that he also wants to be like him someday. Moreover, he could cooperate with Boruto, someone who's been etched with the same karma as him. Kawaki makes the decision once again to defeat the ringleader of everything, Jigen, as well as Kar alongside Boruto. So the reason why I'm excited for this episode right here is when I was reading it, and I was actually very generous in my critique of the manga when I did the chapter review for it. But in this chapter, one thing that I was kind of disappointed on was I felt like there were panels left on the table and that the speech that Kurama gave to Kawaki could have been better fleshed out. I'm betting that the anime adds some extra scenes and some extra dialogue to Kurama and Kawaki, because again, the manga version, I mean, it's cool. You see Kawaki's crying and you see how much he cares for Naruto and everything. Absolutely cool. But the thing about this is that we're in a situation where you need this to be a very, very emotional moment. This needs to be very emotional. So I'm hoping that they add more to this and get people more invested. So episode 202. Now this is the one that is probably gonna be in the title of the video. So episode 202, which airs on June 6th, is called A Religious Organization. Now, before somebody freaks out, I am gonna say I did a video a while back about the Sasuke Shinden teacher star pupil where you had the religious cult that tried to destroy Konoha. A lot of people said, well, maybe this has ties to Boro's cult. I don't think so, but if it gets revealed that Boro had ties to Hidden Mist Village, maybe you can make that argument. But what I will say is this episode directly adapts, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 35. So this one right here, this is good. So in this one, it says the director of the Anbu, Sai, became worried over some intel acquired based on the data that was brought back by Sarutobi Konohamaru from the airship crashing incident. And so Sai requested for Sasuke to handle it and utilize his space-time ninjutsu to pay a visit to the site. There were many enigmatic shapes that were depicted in that particular dimension. Sasuke thought that many aspects of what he was seeing could be connected to the Otsutsuki clan. In the meantime, someone was using amazing powers. A sick person had been saved by the leader Sakar, Boro, right in front of everyone's eyes. Facing the people who had been gathered around him, Boro preached that he would find a way to make everyone happy. So that last line right there about Boro preaching that he will find a way to make everybody happy, that's kind of just bigging Boro up before you actually get to the big fight that takes place after Naruto versus Jigen. I don't want to go into specifics. I will say Boro is very strong, and Boro, the only reason why he gets defeated is there's a mega plot twist that nobody in the community saw coming for that particular fight. So I will say I think it's interesting. I'm gonna call it now. I think that when people mysteriously start getting sick and healed, I think that's gonna be connected to Boro's ability. Again, I want to kind of hold back from the anime only fans, but manga readers know what Boro's ability is. I'm gonna say I think that Boro's the one that's making these people sick and basically using this as a way to kind of cultivate people for the Car organization. Now, the other side of this though is Sasuke doing that investigations into the Sasuke ruins. That's interesting. That's interesting right there. And it kind of is so ironic. Again, all this stuff is tying in directly into what's going on in the manga right now, but it kind of shows you that, like, okay, we're at the part of chapter 35 where it's like, oh shit, Sasuke is gonna find a big discovery there, and he's gonna find an even bigger threat there. Like, I see what the anime's doing. Again, the more I see this, the more I feel comfortable saying that episode 203, which is not going to be in the actual synopsis stuff yet. They typically only do about 4 episodes at a time. So I feel very confident in saying that when we get the spoilers for next month, that we're more than likely going to get that confirmation that Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen is probably going to be episode 203. You're probably going to have Jigen and Naruto initially meet. There's probably going to be a little bit more going on with Boro. The anime's probably going to be in a situation where you're cutting back and forth between the stuff going on with Naruto and Jigen and what's going on with Boro. And then once you get to Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, I think that you'll see the wrap up of whatever's going on with Boro's story. But the fact that they're actually fleshing out Boro, who his direct actions are linked to what's going on in the manga right now, I'm all for it. That's been the biggest problem with the anime, well, not with the anime, but that's been the biggest problem with the manga, is that the details haven't been there. And so I like this. I like this a lot. So I want to know from you guys, what episode are you most hyped for out of these 4 episodes? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.